So I got the product last Friday. They shipped it to me. Put Mother in the shower twice a day, 6 ounces of water every hour, and her blood sugar level has come down 40 points since last Friday, a week ago Friday.
The bottom of my feet were so crusty and hard for so long that it's just unreal. The whole thing is pliable now. It's just amazing to me and a lot of you people I told, when you try this, you call me, because I have never believed in anything other than God than I do this product that I've tested for 7 days.
But within a week, I realized that my skin was softer, my elbows had stopped cracking, and I didn't need that cream on me that I pay an arm and a leg for from the dermatologist. So it's been fantastic.
I could not walk much longer a month ago. Thursday evening, I realized that I had not picked up my cane. Friday, I realized that I wasn't even tired. It's been over a week now, and my leg does not hurt. The swelling has gone down. I can walk without pain, and I go the end of every day working.
When I got my shower unit and hooked it up, that morning I woke up with the pain. I got into the shower for the very first time, and in less than 2 minutes, that pain was gone and has not returned.
You guys are going to have your minds blown this morning, and the best way to do that is, of course, to introduce to you the person that's going to carry us through this morning. This individual is well known. Everybody in the room knows him. He's called many names. In my book, he's our leader, and he's our head coach, but you probably know him as chairman of the board and co-founder. How about bringing up Swenson Hawk?
You know, I have said, and all of you have heard me say this ad nauseum, that behind every adversity is a gift. All of you are aware that I went through an illness starting about September 5, and it lasted a long time, almost 3 months. I tell you what, it just kicked my butt all over the place. I'm 54 years old, and I had never experienced personally what it felt like to think that I was actually dying. And I came real close. And I kept laying there saying to my God, where's the gift in this adversity? And you know what? There was a wonderful, wonderful gift in me getting sick. Because if I hadn't gotten ill, I would not have met Dr. Osleben. It wouldn't have happened. He wouldn't be here today, and you wouldn't be here today. 7 weeks in a row, I'm on the choo-choo train going to Philadelphia because I can't fly because of my condition. And one day, Burl looked at me and he said, "What's the matter, baby?" It's about 7:30 at night. After about 12 hours of Burl's world, anything will whip your butt. But he said, "What's the matter, baby? You don't look like you feel very well." And I said, "Burl, you have never known me when I felt well. I have been ill since I've known you. That's not saying, Burl, you make me sick." And Burl looked at me and he said, snapped his finger and he said, "I got just the answer." He said, "I'm going to fly back a doctor that lives out in San Diego. You're going to be here next week. I'm going to fly him out." I went in Burl's office the following Wednesday, and I was eating pain pills like they were candy, and they were doing no good. I'd get back to the hotel at nighttime and literally sit on the edge of the bed and weep like a baby. I was in pain. Nothing was working. The antibiotics weren't working. Doctors just keep on sending the bills, though. Wednesday afternoon, I met Dr. Harry and his beautiful wife. He talked to me for about an hour and a half, and then he poured me a glass of water. And I had 2 or 3 glasses of water Wednesday afternoon. I had about 8 or 10 or 12 glasses of water Thursday, the same on Friday. And I'm thinking, what kind of quackery is this? By Sunday, no pain. By Monday, I got back to Atlanta, and Beth Ann said, "I got my hawk back." And John Cohen said, "Uh-oh, here comes the freight train. He's back." when something happens to you personally, not hearsay, but when it happens to you personally, then you are ready to jump up on the rooftops and shout, right? That's what happened to me. Not only did my illness turn around immediately, but I met a wonderful man. I met a brilliant man. I met a man that's going to be with this company for as long as this company is existing. He has a Bachelor of Science in Glyconutrition. He has a Master of Science in Glyconutrition. He has a Doctor of Philosophy in Glyconutrition. He is a medical doctor. I'm going to read something. I can't remember it all. Dr. Harry Ausleben is a noted lecturer and educator. During the last 26 years, he's created 6 preventive medical clinics in 5 states in the United States and several holistic hospitals in foreign countries. He has trained more than 2,000 physicians in the principles of preventive, holistic, and alternative medicines. He has written a book, 472-page book, How to Survive the New Health Catastrophes. In 1993, he established the University of Healing Arts. His credentials just keep going down the page. He has a doctorate of medicine. He has a doctorate of osteopathy and surgery. He has a doctorate of philosophy in psychology. He has a doctorate of philosophy in religion, and he has a doctorate of religious education. He is brilliant. He is smart. He is my friend. Please welcome Dr. Ausleben.
Having the University of the Healing Arts and a desire to do something that I have not yet been able to achieve in my career. I've been a medical doctor for 38 years, a preventive medicine specialist for 26 years, had the distinct privilege with a few colleagues to create a new medical specialty called general preventive medicine. General preventive medicine really doesn't mean prevent medicine. It means to prevent disease. But in order to prevent disease, we have to know what it is, because as yet medicine doesn't know what disease is or what health is. We have a major catastrophic disease called cancer. How many people in this room know of somebody that has cancer or has died of cancer? Raise a hand and look around. And you'll see every hand in this room, with the exception of one, went up. How many people in this audience know of someone who's had a heart attack or a stroke? Raise a hand, and you look around and every hand has gone up. One more time. How many people in this audience know of someone who has arthritis? Raise a hand, and every hand goes up. An extraordinary public health catastrophe. We have nothing for cancer that works, nothing for arthritis that works, nothing for heart attacks and stroke that really work, nothing for multiple sclerosis that really works, nothing for Alzheimer's that really works. Now, as a preventive medicine specialist, it has been my career objective to try to prevent those things from happening, and I've been successful at that. And if something can prevent a disease, it can also correct it, can it not? And if it can correct a disease, it can also prevent it, can it not? This organization has an extraordinary mission. I remember a long time ago going to the airport and walking through a doorway that was called a metal detector. You've all seen those now. I remember the first ones that appeared in the airport in San Diego. And as I walked through that doorway, all of a sudden a bell went off, and I was stopped and searched for something that had disrupted that force field in the doorway. And when they found the keychain and removed it, I could pass through that opening without problem. What happened? Let me describe that to you and set the stage for the new product that is coming into the company, that I'm bringing to it for the very first time. Around the edges of that doorway are an electrical wiring system that creates a force field, this is very simply stated, in that doorway opening, an electromagnetic field. And when you walk through that field, if you have some metal, coins, a watch, buckle, a knife, or whatever, that object functions like an antenna. And all of a sudden, that whole force field collapses into that antenna, just like the antenna in your car can pull down stuff out of the air. And that creates a line voltage change, which sets off an alarm. That's how it works. And the first time I went through that, wait a minute, how much power is in that thing? Hundreds of volts, dozens of volts, double-digit ampere, how much power is in there? And how much power is in here? Your brains put out about 1/2 of a volt of electrical power. And if that metal keychain, that buckle, that necklace, that wristwatch could trip that magnetic field, what is it doing to mine? And do I need a magnetic field in my well, of course. We live on planet Earth. We were spawned here. We grew in a magnetic environment because the core of this planet is a big iron ball. So our entire structure, all of our enzymes, all of our chemicals, all of our DNA is all structured with those spirals in the DNA molecule and so on, is all structured to function and be excited by moving through these lines of force that no one understands very well, called magnetism. If that magnetic field of planet Earth gets disrupted, becomes too low, gets too high, everything within it begins to malfunction or has an altered function. We are very dependent on the electromagnetic field of this planet. And what's missing is a new disease process that we're just beginning to find out about. What's missing is the solution for that new disease. The new disease is called magnetic field deficiency syndrome. Now, how do you get a magnetic field deficiency? Well, how about that electric razor? How about the hair dryer? How about the cellular telephone? How about these power lines and the metal in this room? How about the microwaves and the TV waves and the radio waves? How about the electric motor in the bottom of your blender? The electric motor fan in the back of your refrigerator? We are surrounded by very powerful electromagnetic fields that are disrupting these very fragile, weak, but vital magnetic fields that enable our cells and our chemistry and our life to function. So we need a magnetic supplement. Many entrepreneurs and scientists have realized that from as early in recorded history as possible, the lodestone, the healing stones that the priests wore around their necks and so forth, all through history. Many companies exist on Earth now that are selling magnets by the billions every year. And the one letter that was so extraordinary that it set me as a physician on my heel. The letter was from a woman by the name of Shirley Bassett in the Carolinas. And it starts, and I can almost quote it now, I've almost memorized it. She said, "My father-in-law, Jack, is 80 years old. He's had 4 heart attacks, 4 heart catheterizations, which resulted in congestive heart failure, which resulted in kidney failure, which resulted in circulation problems and the loss of 4 toes on his foot. And up to the present time, the circulation in his feet is so bad that it goes from black to blue up to the knee. And the doctors are saying that he has to have an amputation. And my father-in-law simply doesn't want to go on. Without legs at the age of 80, why would he? His life was over, or just beginning." Then she said she received a cassette tape in the mail, the one you're going to get today. And they listened to it and immediately called the person who gave them that tape. And Tim King came rushing over to their house that same night of the phone call and brought with him a very strange object. It was a shower head. And they hooked the shower head up, lifted up the old man and helped him in a shower, the first one in a long time, and turned it on. And then the next sentence is one of the most embarrassing of my medical career. By the end of the shower, the black-blue discoloration in his legs began to disappear. They went to the doctor 3 days later who was going to do the amputation. He couldn't believe it. 2 weeks later, the bone-deep ulcers in his legs began to heal. Now he's jumping in and out of the shower several times a day, and his friends can't get over what's going on. And his trip for dialysis, because of kidney failure 3 times a week, more urine was beginning to flow through the dead kidneys. From a shower head? What's going on? And then the great discovery. Holy mackerel. I remember when I went through that thing at the airport and the alarm went off because I was carrying some metal. And that metal had an electromagnetic field. And that field is disrupting my body. Could that be an explanation? One of the explanations for why, even though we take all the vitamins and all the minerals and all the proteins and all the chemotherapy and everything else that the doctors can offer, we're still sick, we still die. Even the kings and queens of the nutritional world die of the same problems that we do, even though they did what we ought to do that didn't work. No question but that nutrition is valuable. And you find out how valuable as time goes on, because there are new concepts in nutrition and we're going to bring them to this company. Concepts that no other company has. Things that will work better than anybody else has. The product is one that everyone needs. And when they hear the testimonial tape, you won't have to sell it, it'll have sold itself. You give one of these to a friend and tell them, take a shower. If you don't like it, give it back. They won't give it back because of all the wonderful things that will start to happen. Can you imagine, as a physician, I deal a lot with infections. And for many, many years, there was absolutely nothing that could be done about fungal infections, athlete's foot, and so forth. And those of you that have got it know how difficult it is. And it takes the most powerful chemicals to overcome it. Fungus in the feet disappearing in days or weeks from a shower? Cholesterol coming down in days or weeks from a shower? Hardening of the arteries reducing from a shower? Unbelievable. It's not even true. Because it's not the shower. It's a device that you attach to the shower pipe. And when the water comes through this device, it is exposed to normal body type electromagnetic fields from the magnets that are in it. They're very carefully manufactured to create just the right kind of field at the right kind of power. In Spain, a dozen years ago, some scientists began to research and develop a magnetic field generator that could place these normal magnetic fields in your body. How did they know that they were normal, and how did they find out? Because in their research and development, they compared it to what happened to people when they were exposed to it. And this story about father-in-law Jack is so common a testimonial that comes in with the use of this product. At a meeting launching this product for a group of people in California. One of the people who was using it came up with his wife. He had in his hand some X-ray films that were taken a few weeks before of 6 or 8 kidney stones. She was scheduled to go in for laser blasting of those stones. She went on to the product that you're going to be able to get. Went back for a re-examination prior to the surgery. They couldn't find the stones. From a shower? From another appliance that you can run any liquid through and put that same energy, that same force. I mean, this might be the vital life force that metaphysicians have been talking about for centuries. This strange magnetic field which enables life to exist. And she drank that and showered in it, and the stones went away. You will hear testimonials. You heard Hawks. You will hear testimonials that are unbelievable but true because they happen. And that product, which has been under development for a dozen years, is now in the United States. And it's been my pleasure to bring it to USD.
I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Phil Piccolo. Some of you know this man. Some of you have heard of this man before today. He has been and is a giant in our industry. He has been in the network marketing industry for 23 years. He is the only single person in the United States that was ever written a check for $1 million and handed to him to join an MLM company. That's pretty significant, huh? He has been responsible for building a $500 million international business. He has also built a $100 million domestic business that is still doing $10 million a month today. He is on record for having put 16,000, now think about this, you're all in the business. He put 16,800 people in a program in an 80-day period. He's still, and that company that he did that is still doing $10 million a month in business. He's a CEO, and as he proudly said to me at 2:30 this morning, he said, I'm the CEO and co-founder of ITI. And I said, who's the co-founder? And he said, God. He's a very devout person, which lends for instant credibility. He has the worldwide marketing rights to these 2 new products that we're introducing to you today. He chose our company, one of 3 companies, to distribute this product domestically. He told me at dinner last night he wanted our company to be the company to take the product worldwide. That is very, very significant. And that boosts my level of enthusiasm, which you know I don't need any at all, tremendously. Please, please welcome Mr. Phil Piccolo.
Clark Copenhaver, age 78. And my wife Paula, age 65. Paula was introduced to the magnetic shower last month. Paula had been having a lot of pain in her legs and feet. She felt immediately this was something that could help her. We purchased our first unit, and after the first shower, she noticed considerable results. For many years, I have had ringing in my ears, and after several showers, the ringing is completely gone. We are thankful for such a wonderful product and decided to order 12 units, believing we would be able to sell them. In just a few days, they were sold, and we had to order more. At this time, we have ordered a total of 38 units. That was in their first 3 weeks. And most of them are sold. It's a pleasure to be associated with such a great product, and we enjoy working with all the staff who have been so helpful. We encourage everyone to try this magnetic shower and also the enhancer. Ladies and gentlemen, 70 years old and never really sold anything. The testimonies are unbelievable. There's hundreds of testimonies every day. And we're not talking, oh, I feel a little better. We're talking life-changing results. And the older and the sicker you are, the more you get the results. We have people who are $400, $600 on diabetic medicine that don't need it any longer. I don't understand, and as you'll hear the story about this product, why the pharmaceutical companies offered millions, multi-millions of dollars for this product that you're going to hear about today. And guess why they offered multi-millions of dollars for it? To destroy it. To let it never hit you. And this product was very, very successful in Spain. $65 million in 9 months with no salespeople? About a year and a half, a year and 3/4 ago, I heard that these magnetic necklaces can get rid of migraine headaches. And understand the number one reason, I don't know if you're going to really believe this, but it is. The number one reason that people go to see a doctor today is headaches. Headaches. And I said, if this really works, well, this will be great. So I found a magnetic bead company in Spain. I meet Andre over the telephone, and I was real, obnoxious, when I spoke to him. It was 10 o'clock our time, 4 o'clock in Spain. I said, look, I want to spend $1 million, wake the guy up. And he gets on the phone, 4 o'clock in the morning, he just, hello, see, whatever he said. But we had a translator on the phone, and I cut this deal over the phone at about 11 o'clock at night. And he said he was coming to this country, and he said he was coming to New Hampshire. I said, I'm right down the street in Fort Lauderdale. Why don't you just kind of come on down? And he said, sure. Well, it was just the following week that he was over my home, and we were talking, and we're negotiating price for the beads. I have no other idea what else this man handles, and we're talking about beads because all of his brochures are in Spanish. And again, I don't understand any Spanish. Andre said through the interpreter, my magnetic shower unit could help your son's acne disappear in 2 to 3 weeks. And I really thought I lost something in the interpretation. I said, would you please tell him to say what he just said again? I had no idea what he was talking about. He says, my magnetic products, he was talking about 2 products, can help your son's acne disappear in 2 to 3 weeks. I said, what? What are you talking about, magnetic products? So anyway, talking to Andre, he continues to tell me about these 2 products. So he did $65 million in almost less than a year, 9 months. And I'm going, wow. But then he said, we got a problem. I said, what's your problem? He says, I have a manufacturing facility, make $48 million worth of the product a month. And right now we're looking to complete a lease deal to bring the manufacturing to Florida, which will probably produce anywhere from $100 to $150 million worth of the product a month. So he says, I have a problem in Spain. The pharmaceutical government. You see, some of you think the pharmaceutical companies work independently. No, they don't. Big money in pharmaceuticals. It's the pharmaceutical government. And when the double-blind study came out from one of the top research colleges in all of Europe, that what this product was doing to diabetes, the pharmaceutical company offered them multi-mega millions of dollars to destroy the product. And with that, he said no, so they went to destroy him. And since he had no sales force, he didn't have an army, he didn't even have his Gideon 300, he didn't have the people in this room, it was all by himself. So the government just turns around and says, let's get this guy. We won't allow him to advertise anymore. We won't allow him to do this. We'll come down on this man. And this man, in overnight, almost had his business destroyed. And I'm listening to this for the first time. And I said to him, if you have an army of people that can believe in this product with their whole heart, no government can stop them. Because, see, in this country, even though we don't believe it, we're still in control. But you need the Army. You need the Army. He began to tell me what it was doing for people. And I got to tell you, there was not one ailment that it wasn't helping, that it wasn't unbelievable changing lives. So I says, let me tell you, Andre, you really don't know me, and I really don't know you. But you see this arm here? About my kitchen table. You see this arm here? I said, I will cut off this arm before I screw you out of your business. If you will trust me with your company, I will bring it to multi-billions of dollars, at least $1 billion in 5 years, wholesale sales. But I will not begin doing it unless you promise me the same thing, that you will cut off your arm. He began crying. I go, did I say something wrong? Did you translate this right? I thought he might have heard, I'm going to rip you off for your business, you know? And he began to tell the interpreter that his mother, he was about 37 at the time, 38 at the time, his mother told him that when he came to America, that he was going to meet a man that was going to become his lifelong partner. And I go, wow, thank you, Lord, yeah. It's great to have the Lord on your side. He does things and stays quiet about it, but he does things. We shook hands on that night, and we hugged, and we prayed. Do you know that man has been offered $15 or $20 million to take the exclusive away from me? And he only knows 2 words in English. See, Phil. I wanted to be part of a company where if a person came into the business and never sponsored anyone and never recruited a soul, that they could make $5,000 or $10,000 a month. Never recruited anybody because they had a real product. I guarantee you we'll get the first AG award of the century. Finally, a company with no wounded people. The products are simple, but it took 16 years to design and get it perfect. Understand what you're looking at here isn't just any regular magnet. It had to go through years of testing. Too much. No, that's too much. It's not going to work. No, it's too little. It won't work. It won't spin the water. No, the North Pole is different from the South Pole. Let me tell you something. Watch these magnet companies. FDA is watching them very carefully. Because with the same way a magnet on your body could help, a magnet on your body applied the wrong way with the wrong polarity can stimulate cancer cells. If you take north or south side, here I am in the magnet business, and even I'm confused. But if you take a north or south side, one side will calm the pain of your tooth. The other side will explode it. You know what I like about these 2 products, ladies and gentlemen? The FDA could go jump in the water because none of this ever touches your body. We only touch the liquids in the water. You see, there's nothing in here. We add nothing. We take out nothing. Okay, this is where you pour everything through, see? A funnel. This is universally accepted all over the world. You don't need special licensing to go into different countries. You know what that means? That means you could have some of the biggest downlines on the international scene. Who knows? You might be able to create world peace. How do you do that? Well, when Russia says, I think time we go after America, the Russians will say, oh no, I got a lot of people on my second level. I'm getting 10% there. That's it. Very simple products, but very unique. Like, for example, this shower unit just, now you'll need pliers to take off the one you have, but this one goes on by hand and off by hand. You cannot just put a magnet on a pipe. Now, there's a lot of companies that sell magnets for pipes and magnets for the pools and all that. You cannot just put a magnet on a pipe because the moment it touches anything metallic, even a screw, even a little brass fitting, it loses its therapeutic value. Oh, you'll still get the soft water, but it loses its therapeutic value. So it has to go through the magnet. This is totally 100% plastic, made in Italy. I think it's the first time something made in Italy and something made in Spain working together, kind of like my partnership. And when it hits you, the magnetic energy is unbelievable. You can't buy this in Home Depot. You can't buy this in Sears. And if I have my way, the only place you'll be able to buy it is through some company. Where are they? Somewhere like near Atlanta, called USD. So what's left? We've got a company with integrity. We've got a product that's unbelievable. What's left? What's left is a marketing plan. 23 years ago, when I got into my first exposure to network marketing, was Company A. And understand that most of your money is made on the back end, not the front end, but on the back end. Now, in this company, it's going to be made both ways, but on the back end. And when I was in that company, the back end of their plan paid a 3% direct distributor bonus, paid a 0.5% Pearl bonus, and paid a 0.25% Diamond bonus. The Big A now pays 4%, 1%, 1%. Company H was paying 5%, 5%, and 5%. And understand, the deeper you go, this level here is always more than all the levels prior to it put together. NSA. And people here were making 5%, 5%, 5%, and 5%. 5 generations, 5 levels. N, S. And they pay 5%, 5%, 5%, 5%, 5%, 5%. Sixth level is going to pay you 10% here, 10% here, 10% here, 10% here, 10% here, 0 here, 0 here, but he put a 1 in front of it. 10% here. This, by far, is the most powerful payout in the history of network marketing. No company ever dared pay what they're willing to pay. You got a great company that you could trust with a man that you could trust. You have a great product you could trust that'll make you proud and never have egg on your face. You have an incredible, you got the #1 pay plan in the world. This would be like working for McDonald's for $5 an hour and Burger King at $200 an hour.
2.5 years ago, Michael and I got hit head-on in a car accident. Actually, they didn't even think I'd live. And if I lived, they didn't think I'd walk. I did eventually walk with the help of a wheelchair to a walker to crutches to a cane, which I never gave up the cane. For the last 2.5 years, to show you really the dramatic difference, I've got to tell you what my days were normally like. I get up, before I get out of bed, I have to move my legs because if I stood up without exercising, I'd fall. I could stand on them for approximately 30 minutes, and then I'd have to sit and put them up because I could not hold it. For 2.5 years, every moment of every day has been painful, but by evening, unbearable. And there's some of you who've come in the office where I've had the door shut and I've been sitting there crying in pain. I did not believe this. Michael gave me the paperwork and I tossed it back at him. I really did, didn't I? I laughed and I said, "What are we doing?" He said, "You've got to try it." And I said, "No, I don't." He said, "You don't have a choice. I'm putting it on the shower." I was crippled. I couldn't take it off. So I had no choice. Thank you, Michael, by the way. 1 week ago, well, it's been a little over a week now, last Thursday, Thanksgiving morning, I had to take the shower. He forced me to. He could force, I refused to drink the water, but he made me take the shower. I did not notice this until Thursday evening because we had a lot of family over, and you'd think after 2.5 years of constant pain. Oh, let me back up. A month ago, by the way, I was told by a doctor, I spoke to Wendell that same day, that not only was I going to never be out of pain, I'd be in a wheelchair within 6 months. I could not walk much longer a month ago. Thursday evening, I realized that I had not picked up my cane. Friday, I realized that I wasn't even tired. It's been over a week now, and my leg does not hurt. The swelling has gone down. I can walk without pain, and I go the end of every day working.
Folks, there's not much that excites me. Hawk hollers a lot, and I don't get excited. After about the second of the last 7 days, I've been excited. I've been fighting a foot fungus called jungle rot since 1967. I've had to take shots because my feet would literally bleed from the cracks in them. In 7 days, I have no cuts on my feet for the first time in 30 years. I took my shoes and socks off last night and showed Phil Piccolo. I said, the bottom of my feet were so crusty and hard for so long that it's just unreal. The whole thing is pliable now. It's just amazing to me, and a lot of you people I told, when you try this, you call me, because I have never believed in anything other than God than I do this product that I've tested for 7 days. Thank you.
They say, as a little kid says on TV, skeptical. I didn't, when my wife told me about it, I didn't think, I thought, a shower? Come on, you're kidding. But I played her game and I put it on the shower. And of course I shower in there too, so I was using it. Now I've had a condition on my skin on my sides, and where I've had to have a prescription. My elbows get real dry, my skin gets real dry, and I hadn't noticed it at first, but within a week I realized that my skin was softer, my elbows had stopped cracking, and I didn't need that cream on me that I pay an arm and a leg for from the dermatologist. So it's been fantastic. It hasn't been a dramatic change like Jackie, but I tell you, it's been great for me. I love it. I just spent the last several days in Los Angeles. I went out to my mom's funeral, and I stayed with my brother's mother-in-law. And getting in her shower, I couldn't wait to get home to get in mine. I'll tell you, it was great.
Several decades ago, that's before some of you were born, I had an automobile accident that gave me a severe neck injury to where no matter what kind of physiotherapy, chiropractic adjustments, osteopathic adjustments, Novocaine injections or whatever, every morning I would wake up with an agonizing, aching pain in my upper left neck in the back. If I got into an ordinary shower, that was the only way that I could get relief, because I could move under the hot water and try to manipulate that out of there, and after several hours of the morning it would start to dissipate and go away. When I got my shower unit and hooked it up, that morning I woke up with the pain. I got into the shower for the very first time, and in less than 2 minutes that pain was gone and has not returned. When I was in medical school, requiring some extra money to get the books paid off and get the diploma at the end of that training, I decided to do a heroic event, because I've always wanted to be a medical hero and cure some kind of a disease. So I selected a disease that I found out about in Russian research information, a technique that could create psoriasis. And I studied that technique very well and thought that, well, if I can create it, then that'll give me an idea as to the causative factors that would produce it, and then I'd be able to figure out a cure. So I worked up the research project. It became a scholarship project in school, performed the technique, and indeed it produced the psoriasis, but a lot more than I was expecting. I wound up having several dozen lesions all over my body, and some of them quite large. But all of the techniques that I used to get rid of it didn't work. So for the last 45 years, I have not worn short sleeve shirts, I have not worn bathing suits, I have not gone out into the sun with a bare back. And it's been a difficult time to live with that condition. Every once in a while, some miraculous treatment like a coal tar or a cortisone injection or ethyl chloride freezing or something like that would eliminate a lesion for a few days, but then it would come back and usually worse. On the third day of taking the showers, every lesion under 1 inch in diameter gradually disappeared. And by the end of the week, they were gone. Now that's rather incredible because psoriasis is a twofold problem. It's a peripheral nerve dystrophic process that changes the nerve information to the skin. It's a biochemical malfunction in the fat metabolism of the skin, but it's all aggravated by a bacterial infection that produces an allergic reaction in the skin. So to have those small lesions disappear in that short period of time and not return is absolutely miraculous. And I have to tell you that the lesions that were over 1 inch in diameter have broken up and reduced by 50%. Those that are over 2 inches in diameter are fading away, smooth, getting pink rather than red, and not scaly. And it is an absolute medical miracle. Am I a happy doctor? You bet. All right.
2 weeks ago, I was here in the office, and Hawk and Beth Ann were telling me about some things, and Hawk was going, let me tell him, and Beth Ann was going, all right, but it's going to cost you $500 if I find out you've told anybody. And so they told me, and one of the examples they told me about was about what it had done for a gentleman who was severe diabetic. And I shared with them that my mom is a severe diabetic. She weighs over 400 pounds, and she's been disabled for over 10 years. And she takes 2 65cc insulin shots every day, along with 2 glucopage pills to help control and get her blood sugar level down to an average of about 260, which is still way high. So, and she's getting to the point to where her legs below her knees are, swollen. Her feet are so swollen till her toes won't touch the ground. And I know that we're just months away from having to make decisions about amputations and those kinds of things. So Hawk said, I want you to take the product and try it for your mom and see if it makes a difference. And if it does, I want you to give a testimonial. Well, the only reason I took the product and agreed to try the product was because of the outside chance that it would help Mother. Because when they first told me what it was and what it did and how it worked and how much it was, I walked away and thought, okay, I've wasted the past 6 months. I've got to go find something to do because I can't do this. I can't make money off of making claims about a product for people's health. And that's something that's inside of me. I can't do it. And so I got the product last Friday. They shipped it to me. I put Mother in the shower twice a day, 6 ounces of water every hour, and her blood sugar level has come down 40 points since last Friday, a week ago Friday. She's averaging about 230 now. In about 3 days, it went down to about 230, and she's leaving off 1 glucopage pill already. So, folks, you don't put a barrier in your mind of saying, $300 for a shower head, oh my God, I'm never going to sell it. Don't do that. Because if it works for my mom, $600 for a shower head and for the other thing, whatever it's called. The water thing. Whatever that thing is. $600 won't buy her insulin for a month. Her insulin syringes and test strips. So that's a small investment to make for her and for her health.